Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Sterling. We begin with a look at your forecast. Some parts of West Michigan kicking off the weekend with several inches of snow. We've got team coverage for you tonight, and we continue with the chief, Ellen Baca. And Ellen, how are current conditions?
Right now, we're seeing a huge improvement across the board. We've seen the snow dissipate and fade in a lot of locations. It's kicking off towards the east side of the state, so much so that we've seen all of our active alerts and advisories expire early. So initially, we had our expiration time of about 4 a.m. on Saturday. That usually gives us a little bit of buffer time for the system to roll out and for the road crews to recover. But things have been recovering so quickly that all alerts are now currently passed in the West Michigan area, which means we can start to move past this and we can start to move towards the weekend. And I want to talk about what's going on across West Michigan. This is a look at Ford International Airport. We saw some snow earlier today, but it's compacted so much that you can hardly see it on one of our weather cameras. Meanwhile, Battle Creek, definitely one of the locations that saw the most snow. And if we look at Storm Track Live, you can see how the storm system is exiting very quickly. Looking at our high definition mode, looks like the closest location for flurries is closer to the Lansing area as we speak, so we are drying out. Here is our map from yesterday. So this was our official storm teammate forecast that we issued yesterday afternoon, and usually we like to get a little bit more lead time, but I have to tell you, we were talking about how the heaviest snow is going to fall from Kalamazoo to Battle Creek up to Jackson, and if we just do a quick glance at where that zone of heaviest snow is, it's Kalamazoo over through Battle Creek and Jackson. For some of the more specific numbers, we have Blake Harms. He's been in Battle Creek all day. Blake, you've been around thunder snow, you've been in the thick of it. What can you tell us about snow totals and what you're seeing now?
Yeah, goodness, Ellen, it was dumping here in Battle Creek earlier this evening. The snow has come to an end. Roads are still pretty slushy. I-94 slow going as we see some ice and some slush. This is what we affectionately refer to as cement, very wet, heavy snow. Here are some of the totals. We have some that have just come in that haven't even had time to make the graphic. 9 inches in Jackson. As Ellen mentioned, that's kind of been the axis of heaviest snowfall. 8 inches in Vicksburg and Quincy, 7.5 in Portage, 7.5 on the southeast side of Battle Creek. We measure 6 inches here, 7 inches in Eden Rapids, 5 in Grand Ledge and Schoolcraft, 4 in Ionia, 2.9 in Martin, a ½ inch in Byron Center, a trace in Howland, Grand Haven, Muskegon, a big fat 0. But if you are planning on trying to take care of this snow, it is very heavy. Keep that in mind. Just 3 inches of this wet, heavy snow on a 20 by 40 driveway equates to approximately 5,500 pounds. 6 inches, close to 11,000 pounds. So honestly, with our forecast looking the way it is this weekend, temperatures in the 40s both Saturday and Sunday, if you can avoid shoveling, I probably would. Typically, we see a lot of heart attacks with situations like this. In fact, we call it heart attack snow for a reason. So you may want to think twice about clearing it off. A lot of melting expected with improving road conditions into the day tomorrow. Brian?
Blake, good advice there on the snow. Thanks for that live update. Now let's check in with News 8's Demetrius Sanders. He spoke with Consumers Energy tonight about pockets of outages across the state. Demetrius?
Well, Brian, a spokesperson for Consumers Energy says after last week's ice storms, they are fortunate that they aren't expecting widespread outages in West Michigan during this round of winter weather, but the risk for isolated issues is still there. Now, according to Consumers Energy's outage map, more than 25,000 customers are without power right now. There are some small pockets of outages near the Zeeland Township, Battle Creek, and Kalamazoo areas, but a large portion of the issues are near Coldwater, where thousands have lost power. Consumers Energy says this is because they experienced higher winds. Now, Tracy Wimmer, a spokesperson with Consumers Energy, says their power lines are much more equipped to handle snow rather than ice. And she says if you experience an outage, it should not last very long.
We actually already have crews working on repairing some of them right now. And we have other crews mobilized in areas where we think that those high winds are going to maybe have a little bit more damage as the night goes on. But largely, we think those high winds have passed. We're analyzing and we expect we're going to be able to get the power back on in the very small number of places we saw outages tonight very quickly.
Now, Wimmer says the weather should serve as a reminder to prepare for outages. She encourages customers to have things like blankets and flashlights ready at all times. And if you see a broken power line, you should stay at least 25 feet away from it and call 911 immediately. Brian?
Demetrius, thank you. And for the latest weather updates, make sure to download the Storm Team 8 weather app. It's free on all app stores.